Ladies and gentlemen, the politics of this country is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Fred Matiangi left the country a few weeks ago, 2 weeks to be precise. And Kenyans were wondering how he left the country. Some alleged that Matiangi actually left the country on a cargo plane. But it later emerged that Fred Matiangi was actually with a family in the UK. And as late as yesterday, Rigathi Gachagua was on the neck of Fred Matiangi. But certain things were not making sense to most Kenyans. How the DCI would actually summon Fred Matiangi when he had actually left the country. But that's not important as at now. The fact of the matter is that Fred Matiangi returned into the country yesterday. And tomorrow, Fred Matiangi is expected to go to the DCI to record a statement. But what next for Fred Matiangi after his return? In this video, I want us to look at what next for Matiangi. Because you all remember that in January 2019, the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, through Executive Order Number 1, made Fred Matiangi the supervisor of all cabinet secretaries in the country. By that move, Fred Matiangi became the most powerful individual after the president, because through that executive order, Uhuru Kenyatta assigned Matiangi roles which William Ruto was actually performing. So he became very, very powerful. And Matiangi was so sure of Raila Odinga's victory to an extent that at some point he would take on William Samoei Arap Ruto and call his campaigns as jokers. But as fate would have it, William Ruto became the president of the Republic of Kenya. But what next for Matiangi after his return? Before we do that, in case you're watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Now, let me talk about something here before we proceed. I think that Rigathi Gachagua is reckless. He doesn't know his role as a government. Yesterday, Gachagua told Kenyans how how some government officials actually took from government close to 16 billion. That this money were taken to JKIA, is it Wilson, through choppers. I'm trying to imagine the size of 16 billion in cash. Maybe they were in dollars. And that this money were taken to some homes. So I don't know what Rigathi Gachagua wants Kenyans to do with that information. Because the simplest thing for Rigathi Gachagua to do is to arrest those people. They have the powers. They can direct them to arrest them. Today, Rigathi Gachagua is telling Kenyans that the government of Kenya is planning to destroy the businesses of the Kenyatta family by allowing other players. Why? Because the government of Kenya because Uhuru Kenyatta bought other milk companies. What will stop Uhuru Kenyatta from buying those new companies? Nothing will stop him. But what caught my attention is how he was lying to his listeners. The fact is, there are certain lies which can only be bought in this country by UDA supporters. Not UDA supporters only, but those specifically, those from the Rift Valley and from the mountain. That's why there are certain things Rigathi Gachagua cannot tell Kenyans. The truth of the matter is that you cannot sell a gas cylinder at 300 bob. You cannot. Even a scrap metal of gas cylinder cannot go for 300 bob. Those are realities. You just take your gas cylinder as a scrap metal. It can't be sold at that much. He's telling his supporters that they're planning to sell it at 300. What these guys intend to do is that they are going to subsidize the cost of cylinders to 300 or 500. Then the rest, the government is going to pay. It's around 2,000 some hundred. The government is going to pay. So the biggest questions which Kenya should be asking, who is going to get this additional 2,500 they are going to add on top? And the idea is to allow Taifa Gas, which William Ruto has shares on, to sell gas, because the gas is the main thing. Gas internationally, I always tell people, if you want to know the price of any commodity in Kenya, please just go to Uganda and go to Tanzania. Just check the cost of gas cylinder in Tanzania, convert it into Kenyan shilling. Then check the same cost in Uganda, convert it into Kenyan shilling. There is no way the cost in those countries, there's no way the cost of any item in those two countries can be lower in Kenya. Kenya is normally up. In Tanzania, the cost of a cylinder is not 300 bob. So he's taking their supporters for a joke. But let us now get to the real issue, the subject of this analysis. What next for Matiangi? For me, the first thing Matiangi should do tomorrow is to appear before the DCI. Because when he was not there, the DCI were issuing statements after statements, trying to summon him. The EACC issuing statement. In fact, they even had to go to the Ministry of Immigration to get the details of his flight, how he flew. So the first thing, if I were Matiangi, is to go to the DCI. Because if the DCI was serious and Matiangi returned yesterday, it's a known fact he returned yesterday, they should have waited for him, arrested him at the airport, and then produced him in court. If indeed he sneaked out, because that's what you are made to believe, that Matiangi sneaked out. So the first thing tomorrow, let Matiangi, if he's a man, appear before the DCI. That's number one. Number two, this is now the moment for Fred Matiangi to officially join Azimio. Why should he join Azimio? He should join Azimio because all these things are not politics. The only reason why Matiangi is being frustrated is because he frustrated William Ruto's presidential bid. And for me, Matiangi committed a mistake which no any other politician should ever commit. In fact, Professor Kithure Kindiki should be learning from Matiangi how not to let power slip. I'm sure William Ruto cannot easily just let power leave. Matiangi let power leave. Kibicho let power leave. And they knew what to expect. So because it's political, he should now officially join Azimio. Wait for their next rally, then join Azimio. Then these guys will deal with them, not as Matiangi, the former cabinet secretary, but as Matiangi, an Azimio supporter. Because even as we speak, is Matiangi a member of Jubilee? Or is he a member of ODM? Or is he a member of Ford People? Which party does he belong to? So he must make a stand right now. Number three, which in my view is also very important, is that Matiangi should seek for sympathy from the Gusii community. How can he seek for sympathy? He can mobilize his supporters because he was the senior most leader from that region. So the best thing he can do, Matiangi can, because he returned yesterday, he should appear before the DCI. Next Thursday or next Friday or next Saturday, Matiangi should organize a mega homecoming. A mega homecoming in Nyamira that will culminate into a big political rally at Gusii Stadium, just to officially receive him. In fact, if Azimio had not organized the People's Consultative Meeting in Gusii region, this would have been the best moment. Then Matiangi will be able to get that sympathy from the community. He'll be able to kickstart his politics. I'm just advising Matiangi, he should pay me. He must organize. His handlers must actually organize for him. Massive homecoming in Gusii. That's the only way out. If you want to do that, these guys are going to sit on him. Because I've seen their moves. For example, in Nairobi, the other day, Don Bosco Gishana, who was arrested outside the country, had the guts to call for a press conference to tell Matiangi that that was his personal issue. When Bosco made his arrest in Tanzania a community affair. Yeah, so it means the government has tried mobilizing people, the Gusii region, to disown Matiangi. So Matiangi must go direct to the people. Number 4, in my view, is that it's now time for Matiangi to start facing Rigathi Gachagua and facing Ruto head-on, the way he did when he visited the Magohas. That's the only language he can use. Because if Matiangi can position himself, I strongly believe that he can be made a running mate. Because I don't think Raila will be on the ballot. In case Raila will not be on the ballot, then Matiangi can be Kalonzo's running mate to consolidate Gusii and Ukambani. Then you have the Luos and we have other tribes. If Matiangi is serious, he must start facing. If these guys are saying that he sneaked out, go and tell them I'm not back, arrest me. If he's saying he stole money, tell them to take the money. Arrest him, charge him. And lastly, there's an issue which Matiangi must address. And I think it's the elephant in the room. The issue of Ruaraka land scandal. Because from what I've gathered, these guys have gathered a bit of evidence against him. And probably some money were paid to him as kickbacks. But there are several other people, including those in government, currently, who benefited from that money. So he must now fight back. He must make the issue of Ruaraka land scandal, because Itubi has been talking about it. Matiangi is not coming out very clearly on it. For me, that's the only option for Matiangi. Otherwise, he's going to suffer in the hands of these guys. Matiangi is not Raila, he's not Uhuru. So he must make himself an Uhuru and Raila. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Thank you, and may you have a good day.